Did you know Disney's Primos is secretly a high-stakes shonen sports anime? Look closely. Every character is in a competition to be as annoying as possible. I watched the first 2 episodes, and it managed to give me a migraine from the constant yelling and a rash from their pack rat hovel. Everything in the show is dirty and cluttered. I've seen some comments saying this is nostalgic, it's cozy, it's the kind of house they grew up in. And you know what? Me too, which is why I don't want to see that shit. The protagonist Tater Tot has a voice more annoying than mine, and her personality is somehow worse. I felt the boomerism taking over my body as I watched her futz around about wanting to be special. She has 2 main problems that drive her. 1, she wants to figure out what she wants to do in life, and 2, she needs some gosh darn peace and quiet, which is kind of impossible since she's sharing a room with all 12 of her cousins. She feels like she could do anything, she just needs some tater time to figure out what that could be. I guess if you're an ideas guy, this is the representation you've been waiting for. Instead of taking steps to apply herself and try new things, she wants to look inward, and thinks that's the key to finding herself. Now, these are 2 very real problems that kids have to deal with. You don't know what you want to do in life, and you wish your family would shut the hell up and leave you alone. A show that anchors itself to these problems could make for something unique. I mean, that's a lot of what Malcolm in the Middle dealt with. If a show said they wanted to capture the essence of Malcolm but spin it so it's from the perspective of a Mexican-American girl, yeah, that sounds like a solid backbone for a cartoon. But my problem with Primos is its insistence on combining these 2 problems. Primos thinks that alone time is necessary for solving the problem of what you want to do in life. Now, I'm an art fella, so I know the need for peace and quiet to get anything done. But the things she imagines herself as include rock star, traveling the world, and being a fashionista. While all of these passions have dimensions that benefit from alone time, this isn't really her approach. She doesn't think, well, once I'm alone, I'll be able to research flight deals, work on my travel blog, read the complete works of Anthony Bourdain. She thinks that once she's alone, her third eye will open, and only then will she realize her true passion. Finding her passion isn't guided by pushing herself into new experiences, it's about looking inward. If you think that doesn't make sense, we're on the same page here, because it doesn't. And yeah, maybe Primos is playing the long game and Tater will eventually open up. I don't know, I doubt it. This is an episodic comedy, and it seems like status quo is God. In episode 2, Tater Tot makes a big fucking stink about wanting to make a mood board, but she's constantly interrupted by her mom making her do chores. She wants to make her mood board because other great women in history have made one, I guess. By the way, one of the women Tater imagines seems to be Sonia Sotomayor, and here's a fun fact, she knew at the age of 10 she wanted to be an attorney. At the age of 7, Sotomayor was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, which required her to start taking daily insulin injections. Initially inspired by the resilient Nancy Drew character, Sotomayor's career aspirations shifted after her diagnosis. Her doctor advised against becoming a detective. Instead, she found new inspiration in the legal field, driven by her fascination with the Perry Mason television series, ultimately leading her to pursue a career as a judge. But back to Primos. This is a case where I don't know if the protagonist is a dumb kid or if the writers are just dumb. Either way, treating a mood board as the most important thing in the world comes off as self-absorbed, navel-gazing bullshit. This is what I mean when I say the show's making me into a boomer. I look at this and wonder, is this what's important to kids these days? Is finding your true self really such a pressing issue? Man, when I was a kid, my true self just wanted to take a damn nap. Structurally, this show is completely off. If every episode Tater tries a new hobby, that's cool, that's a decent setup for a show. Every episode she could reach out to one of her cousins and indulge in their hobby. If she played a more proactive role with her environment, we could get a show full of experimentation, but a little more down to earth. Best case scenario, Primos becomes the Loud House meets Phineas and Ferb. But she's constantly angry at everyone around her. She's ironically driven by a lack of direction. So the overall tone and mood is incredibly grating. If your protagonist is constantly pissed off by everyone around them, then why should I care about your supporting cast? We're not even going for a deadpan, Curb Your Enthusiasm style of humor where the protagonist is an asshole and everyone around them's an asshole and the plot is everyone insisting that they're not the asshole. Instead of sharp, quick-witted commentary, it's just a lot of yelling and shoving, and it's obnoxious. This might not be the best comparison since these shows are 2 different genres, but I'm reminded of Steven Universe. Primos wants to specifically tackle the experience of being Mexican American, and Steven Universe begins the show feeling similarly out of place as a gem-human hybrid. But Steven is pretty optimistic and has a sincere love for life. No matter who he's around, he's amazed and he sees the good and hope in everyone. It's an understated superpower for a protagonist, and it drove the plot in unexpected ways. Tater does interact with her Primos, but it rarely feels enthusiastic. There is no Steven Universe-style amazement with the beauty of humanity. In Primos, Tater plays a more passive role and gets dragged kicking and screaming into everyone else's vortex of horseshit. So let's take a look. You're not going to have the grand experimentation of Phineas and Ferb. You're not going for the dry humor of Curb Your Enthusiasm. You're not going for an optimistic love of the world like Steven Universe. So I have to wonder, just what is this show trying to do? I feel like it's just here to give us representation for hoarders with too many knickknacks cluttering up their pigsty.